Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? I hope you all are fine. In this video, we are going to tell you about preparing for successful interview. But before it, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Diza Izallia, and my friends are Anisa, Nabila, Putri, and Fathiya, Anisa, Putri. So, keep paying attention to our presentation. Thank you. Interview is important for us to be hired in a company. We need to know what things we should do before doing it to make a good impression to the interviewer. So these are some points that you are going to tell you. The first one is before the interview, the second is during the interview, and the third is negotiating compensation. The first one is before the interview. There are many steps that you have to do before the interview. The first step is put your best foot forward. It means you have to do your best. You have to prepare everything well. What to do before, during, and after an interview. Before, the first one is assess your strengths and weaknesses, likes and dislikes, and your goals. It's important for us to know our strengths and our weaknesses, so we can compare them to the job description that we apply. And you have to know your goals, like what are you going to do next and what things you need to do to get your goals. The second is prepare and practice. You can research the company, practice when answering the question from the interviewer, and know what you will wear. And the third is have a routine for the day of the interview. It's like you can have a trial a couple days before to wake up early, and read or listen something that motivated you. During an interview, keep these things in your mind during an interview. The first one is your body language, which is your eye contact, your smile, your postures, and your handshake. The second is networking updates. The third is focus. The fourth is authenticity. It means when you are answering the question from the interviewer, you must be honest. The fifth is question to ask toward the end of the interview. And the sixth is question about the next step. After an interview, you can do these things after interview to increase your odds. The first one is you can send a thank you note to the interviewer by email. And the second is update all parties relevant to your search. And the third is create your follow-up strategy. This means having more companies that you apply for a job is really good because it will increase your chances to be accepted in a company. And the last is set up additional targets. Interview strategies and techniques. You should prepare your understanding about the company before an interview because it will increase your knowledge about that company. The first one is you can learn about the sector and the organization about that company. And then useful research tools, prepare points to make, prepare questions to ask, and the last is be honest when answering the questions. The second step is dress for success for your industry. What to wear to an interview? The most you should do before an interview is to dress appropriately. These are some do and don't that you have to do during an interview. The first one is use clothes to the proper job level. The second is wear clean and pressed clothes. And the third, you should use accessories to express your style. And the fourth is wear flattering colors. And you don't wear items that will make negative impression, wear too much jewelry, cologne, etc., and too casual. These are some outfit suggestions for women and men during an interview. The third step is preparing for the interview. Being invited to the interview usually means that you are qualified for the job, so make sure you have prepared these steps before doing an interview. The first step is reviewing your CV and the job description. The second step is researching the company and then thinking about what you will wear. And make sure on this step you should prepare clothes that appropriately. The fourth step is planning your journey to the interview. In the steps, make sure you already know the office's dress, or better, for you to do an experiment a couple days before to find out the position of the office, and also you have to know what route you will take. And then the next step is preparing the question you will be asked, and the last step is preparing your own question to the interviewer. Okay, the next topic is during the interview and will be explained by Anisa Nabila Putri.
Okay, thanks to Diza Izallia. The second is during the interview. The first, interviewing methods. A. Types of interviews. The first, competency interviews. This is the most common type of the interview question because the questions are structured so the interviewer can understanding your knowledge and easily know who is the suitable person for their company. The example is the interviewer is looking for a person with organization skills. This type of interview means that the interviewer will give you a question about experience, knowledge, and the others about organization. To prepare a competency-based interview, read the job description and requirements to determine what companies are looking for in their employees. The likelihood is that the interviewer will ask the question designed to prove that the candidate possesses the qualities required. During the interview, try to talk about various situations that you have been in. Next. The second is training-based interview. In this type, the interviewer will ask you about personal abilities and will look what and how do you answer the question, body language, expression. Finding strength is seen from the energy of a candidate, and for the candidates, this is even more positive. They learn from each interview season and can know themselves the level of their suitability for the role. Interviewer also look at the body language and the other cues such as voice intonation to see if someone was proud of their accomplishment or had a special interest in a subject. Next, telephone and video interviews. The first, telephone interviews. These are some types you have to do when doing telephone interviews. The first, sit up or stand it will help you to show your voice effectively. Facing a telephone interviews does not mean you can sit back at will because you are not face to face with the interviewer. Telephone interview also require a good sitting position. The reason is the position of your body will affect the intonation of your voice. The second, smile. You will sound more friendly or confident. By talking with a smile, the interviewer will better know whether our voice sounds friendly or not. The last, try to use gesture as you do it in a normal conversation. By doing a little movement, you can appear more confident in the interview. The second is live video interviews. These are some types you have to do when you doing live video interviews. The first, neatly arrange what will be seen on the camera. The second is think what you will wear. The third, set your distance from your seat to the camera. The last, look into the camera, not the screen. Second, following up after an interview. How to follow up after an interview? The first, the thank you note. After finishing the interview, you have to say thank you. The second, mention the job title of the role you're following up and the date you interview to refresh their memory. The last, finally, ask for an update.
Okay, thanks to Anisa Nabila Putri. So the next topic is negotiating compensation and will be explained by Fathiya Anisa Putri.
Okay, thank you, Diza. Negotiating compensation. Discussion about salary during the interview can be tricky. Prepare for the question by researching what comparable they are pay for you. You also have to search the range salary for your position that you applied. Next, how to talk about compensation. If the interviewer asks about the compensation, be forthright about your self-assessment and how you determine it. Knowing you feel value and range salary in really important. So the compensation that you reserve is capable with both of them. If you are afraid you make mistake about your assumption about salary, think about bringing up the issue in fact. For example, you apply for a manager position. You can tell to the interviewer about the salary of the manager position at this time. Next. Other types of compensation. First, medical insurance. Medical insurance usually includes hospital expenses, surgical expenses, and routine health care visits. Many employers also offer dental care as a part of their medical insurance package. Second, social security and Medicare. For example, in our country, and employers got jam sostek as social security. Jam sostek is a protection for employers in the form of compensation. Third, incentive pay systems. The incentive pay system include commission, bonus, profit sharing, etc. Commission are usually calculated based on companies' achievement of their targets. For overtime pay. Overtime pay is given for overtime works. Overtime may occur if there is an agreement between works and employers. If the works do not want to do every time, employers cannot enforce it.
So, thank you. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.